So Lexus isn't exactly new to the electric game, right? But with their new RZ, they're not just rolling out another EV. Nope, they're making this huge claim that they've reinvented the entire driving experience. So what on earth does that actually mean when the rubber hits the road? Let's dive in and find out. And here it is. This is the car at the center of it all, the RZ550e F Sport. And you gotta understand, this is way more than just a cosmetic update. Lexus is really pushing this as a fundamental shift, a whole new chapter for what an electric vehicle can be. They're promising a driving experience that's not just different, but, fundamentally better.
I mean, reinventing the drive. That's a pretty bold claim, isn't it? So what does that actually look like in the real world? Are we just talking about more power and a few new gadgets, or is this something deeper? That's what we're about to break down.
All right, first things first, Lexus went straight for two of the biggest headaches for pretty much any EV owner: performance and convenience. And how'd they do it? Well, they started by redesigning the very heart of the car. Okay, so this right here, this is the foundation for everything that's new in the RZ. Lexus basically went back to the drawing board. They came up with a new high-capacity battery and a super efficient motor system they're calling the e-axle. Now, a simple way to think of the e-axle is like this compact, all-in-one unit that bundles the motor, the gearing, and the inverter together. It's this new core that makes everything else possible: more power, better range, and crucially, faster charging.
And check this out. These are the numbers that new foundation delivers. You can see a really clear progression across the models. You've got the super efficient RZ350e on one end, all the way up to the seriously quick 550e F Sport. I mean, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.4 seconds. Come on, that's proper performance car territory.
But let's focus on this number for a second. 575 kilometers. That's about a 20% bump in range for the most efficient model, and that is a huge step towards killing that nagging feeling in the back of your head. That "am I gonna make it" feeling on a long drive. That's the difference between a stressful road trip and one you can actually enjoy.
And hey, when you do have to stop for a charge, you'll be back on the road a lot faster. Lexus has managed to optimize the whole charging system, shaving off up to half an hour from the charging time. That's enough time to actually go grab a decent coffee and a snack, not just sit there staring at the clock.
Okay, so the power's up, the weighting's down. That's great. But now, we get to what Lexus says is the real game changer. The thing that completely changes the connection between you, the car, and the road.
It's called steer-by-wire. And what is that? Well, in a normal car, you've got a physical metal rod, the steering column, that connects your steering wheel directly to the tires. With steer-by-wire, that rod is gone. Just gone. Instead, when you turn the wheel, it sends electrical signals to the tires. It's kind of like a super advanced flight simulator joystick instead of old mechanical linkages. There's no direct physical link.
And this diagram really shows you what's going on. You turn the steering wheel, it sends a signal to a computer, and then that computer tells the motor on the steering rack how to turn the wheels. Doing it this way allows for a level of speed and precision that honestly, you just can't get with a purely mechanical setup.
So, okay, cool tech, but what does that actually mean for you, the driver? Well, for starters, the system can change the steering ratio on the fly. So in a parking lot, the steering is super quick and easy. You barely have to turn the wheel. But then on the highway, it gets more stable and less twitchy. It also filters out all those jarring vibrations from the road, so you feel way less tired on long drives. And get this, with a total rotation of only about 200 degrees, you can say goodbye to that awkward hand-over-hand shuffle when you're making a tight turn.
All right, so the tech is definitely impressive. But let's be real for a second. One of the biggest complaints you hear about EVs is that they can feel a little soulless. They're incredibly quiet, they're super smooth, but sometimes they're missing that raw, engaging character. And that's exactly what Lexus is trying to fix here.
And they're tackling this with two key pieces of software. On one hand, you have something called interactive manual drive, and on the other, their refined Direct4 all-wheel drive system. The whole point here is to make you feel more connected to the car, to make it feel less like a silent appliance and more like a partner out on the road. So, this interactive manual drive thing, what is it exactly? Well, it's a really clever piece of software that tries to bring back the feeling of a manual transmission. You actually use paddle shifters to click through a virtual 8-speed gearbox. And this isn't just for show, it actually changes how the power is delivered. It even pipes in sounds that mimic an engine revving to make the whole thing feel more real. It's all about giving you back that sense of control and involvement.
And working right alongside that is the Direct4 system. This thing is constantly and intelligently shifting power between the front and rear wheels, and it does it in milliseconds. So when you floor it, it can send 100% of the power to the rear wheels, giving you that classic sports car push. Then, when you dive into a corner, it's constantly adjusting that ratio to give you the sharpest, most stable line possible. It's like having a co-pilot who's always making sure you have the perfect amount of grip second by second.
Okay, so we've got the new power system, that wild new steering, and the software that's designed to give the car a soul. Now let's see how it all comes together in the ultimate version of this new philosophy, the F-Sport.
And this is it, the RZ 550e F Sport. This isn't just a badge and some fancy wheels, it's the full-fat, top-tier version. It's designed to be the absolute peak of what the RZ can do. It looks more aggressive, it's more aerodynamic, and yeah, it packs the most powerful motor setup they offer.
So what really sets the F-Sport apart? Well, you get that full 300 kilowatts of power for one. You get a specifically tuned sport suspension that really helps it hug the road. You get functional aero bits that actually do something, they're not just for looks, and inside you get an exclusive interior with details like aluminum pedals, and of course that really engaging interactive manual drive. It comes standard. This is the whole shebang.
You know, the chief engineer, Shinya Aito, really summed it up perfectly. He said the goal wasn't just to build a fast EV. It was to use technology to create a more dynamic and engaging connection. He called it a dialogue between the driver and the car. I kind of like that. And that brings us all the way back to where we started. Has Lexus really reinvented the electric drive? I mean, when you look at technology like steer-by-wire, which literally changes our physical connection to the car, and then you add features like the interactive manual drive that bring back that feeling of engagement, they've definitely built a compelling case. It seems like they've tackled the practical problems, sure, but maybe more importantly, they've tried to give the electric car a soul. The real question is this what the future of driving feels like?
And that's our look at the new Lexus RZ. It's a pretty fascinating peek into where electric cars are heading, moving beyond just being efficient and into the world of pure driving fun. Hey, thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.